Welcome to LifeHacksLA. I'm your host, Stefan, and just like you, I am obsessed with the city of Los Angeles. Each week, we bring you the best in arts, eats, and activities for the City of Angels. So if you want to be an LA hacker, join us and let's hack LA. Baby, baby. Hey, what's up, LA hackers? This is Stefan, and this is the very first episode of LifeHacksLA. So in this episode, I just wanted to kind of give you an idea of what we're going to be doing here, who I am, and what LifeHacksLA is all about. So my name is Stefan, like I said, and LifeHacksLA started with an Instagram account a couple years back, and it was basically just sharing the best of Los Angeles and the best hacks that I've found. But let me go back a little bit further and talk about who I am. So, as a kid, my dad was in the military, and we moved around a lot, so I got to experience a lot of different cities. Let's see. When I was a little kid, I was in Alaska, which was miserable, Denver, and then we eventually moved to Seattle. And Seattle was a pretty cool city, but that's where I spent most of my years, and Seattle's changed a lot recently. It's a huge city now, but when I was there, it was a little bit smaller. But anyway, at the time I was in Seattle, I used to visit Los Angeles a lot, especially after my brother moved there. My brother moved there to go to law school, and he loved it in Los Angeles, and he'd always tell me to come out and visit. Excuse me, I had to have a drink of water. But anyway, so I would come out to visit all the time, and my impression of Los Angeles is very different than what it is now after having lived here for 10 years. So my impression back then was, I don't know, like I felt like it was a little fast-paced, and I didn't really know what Los Angeles was. I mean, I was basically just doing all the tourist stuff. I would come a couple times a year. We would go to Venice Beach, we would go to the Santa Monica Pier, we would go to the Hollywood Boulevard, Universal Studios, the same 4 or 5 things at, Griffith Park Observatory. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love those places, but I think it gives a certain impression of what Los Angeles is that people don't realize. People who are visiting and they just keep going to those same places every time, they don't realize there's a lot more to Los Angeles. So anyway, long story short, after a while, I decided to move to Los Angeles. I got a job at Cedars-Sinai. At the time, I worked in IT. So I got a job at Cedars-Sinai, Beverly Hills. And we lived in Mid-City. Now, we lived walking distance from the Grove, walking distance to LACMA, and that time in Los Angeles for me was just so amazing, because the first 2 years I was in LA, and first of all, if anytime someone's moving to Los Angeles, they ask me where they should live, I always recommend Mid-City. It's a little crowded, it's a little expensive, but it's literally 20 minutes from everything. I mean, you can get to Beverly Hills, downtown, the beaches, everywhere. We were walking distance from the Grove, so I would go to the Grove at least 2 or 3 times a week. I mean, I think it's the quickest way to get yourself familiar with Los Angeles. So, little hack there. If you know anybody that wants to move to Los Angeles, I highly recommend their first year is in the Mid-City area, just because, in my opinion, that's the quickest way to get the feel of Los Angeles in your first year here. But anyway, so I was, let's see, where was I? So I was working at Cedars-Sinai, I moved to Los Angeles. We had, when we got here, we just realized how, and this is just in LA, I just realized, like, wow, this stuff I've never been to. Like, all these amazing things were right here. Like, I didn't spend a lot of time in Beverly Hills when I was visiting, and Culver City, and just all this stuff on the west side, West Hollywood. I'd been there once or twice as a tourist, but when you live here, you're just like, wow, this is so incredible. I mean, there's so much stuff here. And it's all, like I said, within 15, 20 minutes drive away. So my first 2 years here, I really got obsessed with, like, just trying to do something every weekend, So I would make I made a Google Doc And because there's just so much stuff. I mean, I would every time I heard about something, I would jump on my Google Doc and I would add it to it. You know, Catalina Island, boom, add it to the Google Doc. Oh, there's this beach in Malibu called Paradise Cove where you can drink your own beer. Boom, add it to the Google Doc. The Getty Center. Oh, I haven't been there. Let me add that to the Google Doc. You get the story. So eventually this thing just got huge, this Google Doc, because I would add all these amazing things that I would hear about. And I would also add, you know, one-time events, you know, like festivals. And, you know, if you live in Los Angeles, you know, besides all the stuff that we can go to anytime, like Griffith Park and the Hollywood sign and all that stuff, all these amazing things, we've also got these, just this crazy stuff that just pops up, you know, like music festivals, summer outdoor movies, etc. So I would write those down too. And anyway, eventually this list just got humongous, right? So I started sharing with my friends and family, and you know, they were really excited about it, right? Because they were, you know, some of that stuff they hadn't heard of, or maybe they've done it once and they just kind of forgot about it. So I really got into it, you know. I really started. It was kind of became my passion to like kind of share what's so awesome about Los Angeles, and try to encourage other people to go take advantage of that by going out and doing things. And another thing I want to point out is that this isn't just Los Angeles. You know, I started going out to Pasadena and Burbank and let's see, you know, of course Malibu, all these places that aren't really considered the city of Los Angeles, and they're amazing in their own right. You know, these cities can stand on their own as just amazing places, especially when you come from another city like Seattle. Seattle's a pretty cool city. There's a lot to do, but there's Seattle, and then there's all these little. There's a couple suburbs out there that don't really have anything that great going on. But here, I mean, as anyone who lives in LA knows, if you like, I live in the South Bay now, right? I don't really need to leave the South Bay. There's so much amazing stuff going on here. I used to live in Burbank. There's so many amazing things going on in Burbank. When I lived in Burbank, I rarely left that area. I would just hang out in North Hollywood and Burbank, etc. So it's not just Los Angeles. I mean, there's just crazy amount of awesome stuff to do here. So anyway, back to this Google Doc. It started to become legendary with my family and friends. And right around the time this thing started getting so unwieldy, just because it wasn't very organized, I was just adding stuff to a Google Doc that was just getting too big. Instagram started getting popular. And so I got on Instagram, and I decided, you know, just as a hobby, you know, I had no plans to make a brand out of it or anything like that. Just as a hobby, I was going to post something to do every single day. Every day. Post a suggestion of something awesome to do in Los Angeles. And so I did that for over 2 years straight. I never missed a day. And like I said, I was just doing it for fun. You know, my family and friends would follow me, and they got some value out of it. But eventually, people started catching on to it. I really didn't know how Instagram worked at the time. I mean, I had my own personal Instagram, but I really never even posted on it. Didn't really know much about Instagram. And I'm recording this on Father's Day, June 17, 2019. And now I'm up to almost 35,000 followers. But I really, you know, the first year and a half, I'd say, you know, I only had a couple hundred followers. And I would just post every day for myself and my family and friends. I really didn't think about trying to grow it or anything. I would say that once it hit 5,000, I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. Like, there's a lot of people who actually are interested in what I have to share that I've never met before, right? So I started to take a little more time with it, you know, really vet stuff and really figure out what's cool. And like I said, the Instagram account name is LifeHacksLA. So it wouldn't just be like what to do in LA. It would be like what to do, but something cool, or it has some cool hack, or there's something different about it, right? So people started to catch on, and once I hit about 10K, that's when I was like, okay, this is really cool. I'm really gonna, you know, take this more serious. And then I launched the website, lifehacksla.com, the Facebook, facebook.com/lifehacksla, and the whole deal. Website started getting more popular, and so I started writing a blog post every week on Los Angeles and Los Angeles area things to do. And, they've been going really, really well. Like I said, close to 35,000 followers right now. And we got really popular on our Instagram. We got kind of known for giveaways. So what I would do is I would find something really cool in Los Angeles. Like right now, we've got, as of this recording, we've got a giveaway going on with the Hollywood Bowl, where we're giving away 4 concert tickets. It's going to be over by the time this recording gets published, but I just want to give you an example. We've done giveaways for Malibu Wine Safari, for Glen Ivy Spa, all these legendary institutions. And I think the reason why they want to work with us is because even though we don't have 100,000 followers or this huge, huge following, the account's kind of been known for like the cool stuff in LA, right? So they want to be associated with that. And my mission with this account is to, one, share what to do in Los Angeles, the cool stuff to do in Los Angeles, but then also encourage people to do it. So I would work with them, get free tickets to whatever this cool event is, and give it to my audience. And that way I feel like it's a win-win. My audience wins, I win, and of course the brand or sponsor wins because they're getting exposure to my audience. So we've got the Instagram account and we got the website. Why a podcast? Well, here's the thing. Long before I started LifeHacksLA and long before I started my Instagram, I've been a huge podcast follower. I listen to podcasts every single day in my car. And, a variety of topics. I listen to mostly entrepreneurship, business mindset stuff. I wouldn't say there's a lot of great Los Angeles podcasts out there, but I would definitely listen to a Los Angeles podcast myself. Now, the reason why it's taken me so long to launch this podcast is because it's not really my forte. I'm not really a talker. I'm more of a, behind the scenes type of person. But, like I said, I've always felt like my background is in technology and also marketing. So I've always felt like a good business idea is to provide something that you want yourself that's not out there. And I don't think there's really anything out there like LifeHacksLA in the podcast universe anyway. And also another reason why I'm launching it is because there's a lot of people that I've listened to their podcasts and I follow them everywhere now because of their podcasts. But if it wasn't for their podcast, I would have never known about them. So even though I've got a huge following on Instagram, or it's getting to be a huge following of thousands of people, and no one following on podcasts, I want to give as many opportunities out there for people to discover LifeHacksLA as possible, our website and our Instagram. And if I can reach someone out there in podcast land and get them on the website or the Instagram, I can meet those 2 goals that I have, which is A, share the best of LA, and B, encourage people to go out and experience it for themselves, because I'm really, really obsessed with the city of Los Angeles. I love it, and it's more than just the weather and the beaches. It's just the staggering amount of things to do here. And like I said, I don't know if you can really appreciate that unless you've lived in another city first and you've come here, because it just doesn't compare, Maybe New York. I've been in New York a few times, and I'm sure, New York has got a staggering amount of things to do too, but hey, half the time you can't do anything outdoors because it's freezing, right? So I'm LA all day, baby. But like I said, that's the goal of this podcast, is just to get out in front of as many people as possible. If I got to get out of my comfort zone and get on the microphone to do that, then I'm happy to do it. And this first episode is just kind of an introduction of what LifeHacksLA is and what we'll be all about. But in the future, you can look for episodes that are really just trying to share the best of Los Angeles. And I'll probably be reaching out to others to do interviews, maybe Los Angeles experts in a certain field, like LA foodies or people from these LA institutions and icons, and interviewing them to really get the behind the scenes. So the goal of it is hacking LA. We're going to hack the eats, the iconic spots, and the entire neighborhoods. One thing I like to do is I've got some blog posts like this where we'll go into a neighborhood like Santa Monica, for example, a neighborhood or a city. And there's so much to do in that little city that we like to hack that city, like find the best of it and present it to you. So we'll probably have some podcast episodes like that, like hacking Highland Park or hacking DTLA or hacking the Arts District, hacking Santa Monica, hacking Venice Beach, that sort of thing. So I'm really looking forward to that. And like I said, having some co-hosts in the future. So if you want to be a co-host and you have some expertise in some area of Los Angeles that you can show us, then I'd be glad to have you on. Just reach out to me. And of course, we're going to be talking about our favorite hacks. So that's just about it. I just wanted to give you an introduction. This is our first episode. I'm really excited for where things are going to go. We're going to post one episode a week. I've committed to that, and we're going to share the best of LA. We're going to hack LA, and we're going to do it together. So join our tribe, become an LA hacker, and let's hack LA. All right? All right, so I'll talk to you in the next episode. It should be coming in a week. Peace out. Hey, LA hacker. I hope you enjoyed this episode of LifeHacksLA. If you want to find more hacks to this amazing city we call Los Angeles, please go to lifehacksla.com. And if you enjoyed the podcast, we'd really appreciate it if you give us a review on whatever platform you're listening on. It really helps us out a lot. All right, this is Stefan signing out. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.